Sean, I was just asking, or talking to Bill Laser about trying to evaluate these first few days of practice when there's no pads and your defense obviously been in the backfield a lot. How much stock are you putting into that as you're trying to evaluate these first few days?
It's the same as OTAs to me right now. I mean, you got to get the pads on to play football, right? So the part that we're evaluating is our mentals, who's making mistakes, who's not, our communication, our effort level, and our energy. That's what we're really trying to focus on right now. And the guys so far have been pretty good. There's always going to be mistakes. That's why we practice, and we'll clean those up. But that it's a good start for them to have some good energy out there. And I think they're trying to play together and play as a unit, which is nice to see.
How huge is it for you guys to get Eddie Goldman back? I know a lot of people have already talked about it, but you haven't really commented on that. What does it mean for you guys as a defense?
Well, it's the same. I mean, one, it was great to see him. Right, he's a great person to be around, and it's great to see that he's in shape. So all that is nice, and he's in the same boat as everybody else. He's learning the playbook. He hasn't played in a couple years, so you see that there's a little bit of rust there sometimes, but he's doing a really good job right now. I'm proud of him, and the true story is going to be told when he gets the pads on. And I think that's quite frankly where Eddie has shined in his career.
Sean, obviously you have some of your own new ideas, but you seem to have embraced the association with Vic Fangio. You seem to take pride in being part of the Fangio tree. How much is that the case for you, and how similar do you think your philosophy is to his?
Yeah, I think that's a funny question, because I think sometimes you guys embrace that connection a little bit more. And now I will say this: Vic is a mentor of mine. Right, we're close. We talk, we text, we do all that stuff, as I would with a lot of other mentors I've had in the profession. So he's been a big influence, and one of the more recent ones. Early on in my career, Al Golden was a big influence for me. So I've had a lot of influences, and I keep in touch with all those guys. And Vic's been tremendous for me, just as my other mentors have been. And so the philosophies that we're trying to build here as a defense and everything have come. There's roots of everybody that I've worked with, and everybody's voice is a little bit in there, and I think that's the benefit of it. That's why I'm my own person, and we're going to try to do this thing the way these players want to do it and the way these coaches want to do it, and we'll be unified in what that brand is going to be. That's going to be out there.
Sean, I know that Eddie Jackson obviously is not practicing, but I noticed out there that he's pretty vocal still on the sideline, and I saw him speaking to you as well. Is he just giving his input? Like, what has Eddie Jackson been like?
Oh, he's been great. I mean, Eddie's such a high football IQ guy, so we want him out there, and he wants to be out there, and he wants to be practicing, and obviously he's not right now, like you said, but he's great. We want those guys engaged. He's got the same script that the coach has got, so he knows what all the calls are. He's communicating. He's helping the guys that are coming off the field and giving them points. And I think when you get that and you get coaches, obviously coaching players, but players coaching players, and speaking the same language, I think that adds a lot of value. And Eddie's able to do that because, he and I have a great relationship. We've worked together for a long time, and I've coached him personally, so he knows kind of where I'm coming from and what my expectations are from a lot of the positions on the back end, and so he's able to communicate that. And so when you got champions like that help that, I think that's what helps bring the connectivity to the team.
What was the number one priority when you look back at last year? What is the number one thing that you want to really see improvement from this year compared to last year?
Yeah, I think last year there were so many good things that we did, and obviously there's always places for improvement. A big thing for us is we want to try to take the ball away, and there are some fundamental core things that we just believe in. I mean, you guys saw it out there today. We believe in tackling. We believe in running to the ball. We believe in taking the ball away. So there's a premium placed on those three things. I think to play good defense, you need all three of those. And so we're going to try to be really good at those three things to start with. And then, when the scheme comes, the scheme will come.
How much input have you gotten from Robert Quinn?
Say again?
On Robert Quinn, how much input have you gotten from him about how he could be best used this season as opposed to last season?
So it's funny. So I've got an open door policy, and the players know that. We said it in our first training camp meeting, and I jokingly tell them that there's a suggestion box right outside my door, and they're welcome to add suggestions to it, just like the coaches are. Doesn't mean every suggestion is going to be taken, but every suggestion will be under consideration, and if it's good, we got no ego here. We're going to do what's good for everybody. So it's an 11-person unit. So whatever the suggestions are, we're going to use those, and we're going to roll that way.
Sean, when Sean Gibson was with us earlier today, he said, a lot of defensive coordinators say, I'm going to put you in the best position. But he says, when you say, he kind of believes it. And I know it's like a simple thing. Yeah, we're going to put you in the best position. But how do you let the players know, instill that confidence that you are going to do your best to get them in that position?
I don't know. I just try to be myself. I try to, when I coach them on tape and everything, I just try to tell them the way I see the game, how I see the plays coming out, whether it's offensively or defensively, and give them the reasons of why I'm thinking certain plays, or why I'm calling certain plays in certain situations, and letting them know that. And I appreciate all those guys saying that, but letting them know that we're going to do our best to help maximize all of our plays. Like you said, every defensive coordinator is going to say that, right? And so I just want them to know where my mind is at, and I think part of that is knowing that we can't help everybody every time, and somebody's going to have to play a one-on-one, and they're going to have to win a one-on-one, whether it's a DB or a rusher or whatever it is, and the expectation is that they win. So when it's your hard hat, you better win your hard hat, and when it's not, we'll try to help you.
What tells you that the takeaway total can go up significantly this year?
What tells me that? Not much. I mean, how does anybody know at this point in training camp? We're just trying to emphasize the details that we believe lead to takeaways. And I think through that process of emphasizing that and getting the focus and the minds in the places that we want them, they'll come. I mean, you guys know. Takeaways come in bunches, right? There's an energy that's created about that, and you guys have seen it covering Chicago for a long time, right? There's been a lot of up years and a lot of down years in terms of takeaways. But when they come, they'll come. And I think the guys see that. And just the ability to be consciously aware of where that ball is, in terms of where a ball carrier is carrying it, or the quarterback, whoever it is. That's what we're trying to make these guys aware of.
What else are some of your big emphasis in that regard?
What are some of my big emphasis? The biggest thing is knowing where the ball is. That's the biggest thing, having vision on the ball, right? If you can't see the ball, you can't take the ball away, right? Very simply. So they need to know. They need to see the ball from wherever it is, the snap to the quarterback running back exchange to the quarterback dropping back at the top of the pocket to releasing it, and then we'll have a chance.
Are you doing any kind of different drill? Are you doing any kind of, I'm sure every year everybody always says we're trying to get takeaways, obviously everyone wants to do that. Are you doing anything differently in practice to work on trying to create more of them?
We've got our different circuits and different points of emphasis that we try to do. I think our position coaches have been doing a great job of trying to emphasize that in all their drills, and I think it's important. I told I think it was Roquan today during the stretch line. I said, when I go get a ball, so you can just touch one. I think they just got to touch the ball, right? So as many touches that you can get in practice, and they feel the ball, I think that's going to translate.
What's with the tub, the blue tub?
What's with the blue tub? Oh, that's our little takeaway. That's our little takeaway basket. We want to make sure that when we get a takeaway, everybody knows that we got one.
Sean,
When you were talking to Ryan Pace on Tuesday, you mentioned your organizational skills twice, I think, as one of your greatest strengths. How does that manifest itself in the job you're doing now, and where does that come from in your experience?
Yeah, just a personal leadership philosophy. I think you got to be organized. I think that reflects through your whole organization. And so my current role, I'm responsible for the defense and the staff and the players, and I got to make sure I provide the roadmap for them. And they got to feel that. And I think from a staff perspective and a player's perspective, they know real quickly when you're not organized. And so that's a big pet peeve of mine.
Sean, you mentioned running to the ball, and it seems like, there's a lot of that at practice, but they're doing it very loudly, like almost celebrating potential hits. I'm just curious how much you encourage that, embrace that, especially even the guys on the sideline, just yelling when potential hits could be made, even though they can't hit.
Yeah, no, we encourage it. We encourage it. We want those guys to play together. We want them to play with energy, and like Coach Nagy always says, we want them to be themselves. Be you, and let their personality shine. And when all 11 of us that are on the field do that, and then the other 30 that are on the sideline do that, that's how you generate energy, and it's authentic. We don't want to try to create rah-rah situations. You guys have gotten to know me a little bit. I'm not a big rah-rah guy, but when it's authentic and they're having fun, I think that's good for them. Training camp can get long. They need to have some fun and levity.
How do you feel about what you've got to work with right now at left cornerback? With you got plenty of time to kind of sort through that, but How would you sort of handicap that situation?
Yeah, like I said in the spring, I'm got a real positive outlook at the cornerback position. I think Jalen's obviously done a good job, and I think we've got a really seasoned vet in Trufant, who's able to show his skill set. Kendall's been coming along, and he's shown that he's proven that he's earned a right in this league to stick around, through his performance in games last year. And then we've got guys that are pleasantly surprising to me, and I shouldn't say surprising. They're surprising because of the injuries and the adversity that they've overcome, in terms of Artie Burns, Michael Joseph. Those guys have overcome some injuries, and they're performing at the level I hope that they think they need to be performing at. We're pleased with where their progress is.
Sean, because you've been in this organization for a long time and have risen through the ranks, is there ever a moment, when you're out there, that you have to remind yourself that you are now the defensive coordinator, or that, holy crap, I'm the DC of the Bears?
I don't know if it's that moment, but I just try to take a deep breath every time I walk on that field and appreciate the opportunity that I've got in front of me, and I'm thankful, obviously, to the McCaskey family and Coach Nagy and Ryan to afford me that opportunity. And so you try to be reflective. I try to get out to practice a little bit early and just collect my thoughts, and it's nice to be wanted at one place for this long in this profession.
Besides the tactical stuff, play design, play calling, even though you're a low-key guy, how important is it, do you think, that you get players who want to play for you, that you have that emotional connection to them that gets them, Sean Gibson mentioned that. He really wants to make you successful. How important is it to get that throughout your defense, that this defense wants to play for you?
Yeah, well, I appreciate Gip. He's a guy that I've worked with, again, as a safety coach last year closely, and appreciate all those guys in that room. And, whatever their why is what I want them to play for. And for them to be able to say that they want to play for me, I think that's great. I want to coach for them. That's why we're in this profession. I'm here to serve them and to try to help them achieve whatever goals they want to achieve in this deal. So I'm all for it. Whatever motivates them, we'll keep playing that up.
I guess maybe it's a general question. If the players don't love the coordinator, can you still be successful just by X's and O's?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can, and I think obviously football is the ultimate team sport, right? Player, coach, coach, and so for them to play together with the coaches involved in that, play for us as a unit and all that, and obviously I'm involved because I'm calling the plays with that. I think that helps. I really do. I think that helps in football. You got to be unified.
Sorry, Sean. And what can you do to make sure that Akeem is in the best position to be successful, not just week 1, but through 17 games now?
Akeem, you said? I don't know how much more we need to do. He's a pro. He's been around the league a long time, and he's stayed healthy, for the better part of his career here. Besides the elbow injury he had, which everybody would be out for that. So we're just going to continue to manage him that way, and make sure he's got the reps that he needs. And then when we can give him a break during training camp, we'll try to help him, take some reps off him. But he's come back in tremendous shape, and that's a credit to him.
As far as Roquan Smith becoming an extension of you, like on the field with the play calls, getting everything in order, like how is that going in terms of that communication?
Yeah, Roquan's
on the field,
Roquan's been tremendous. All those guys have been, and I'm trying to get everybody, like I said earlier, to understand why I'm doing certain things. Why we're thinking certain things as a staff, why we want to call certain plays, and with him with the green dot, I think it's even more important. Because he's the first voice. He gets my voice, and then he relays it to the players. So I think for him it's even more important. I think it starts with him, and he's just a tremendous person, right? And then an even better football player, and so that I think helps. He's really smart, really bright. He works at it every day and kind of understands the bigger picture. And I'm going to help him understand the bigger picture from my perspective, so we're on the same page.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Sean, thank you.